एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्भय अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद। धन धन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी महाराज, धन गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहिब सच्चे पातशाह। भूल छिम पूरी प्रभापन पूर्णहार कहाँ को मुसो, हवाए बंदगी अब दर वजूद मरा, वगरने सौके चुनिया उमदैन नमूद मरा। गम चे बाशत गफलत याद खुदा, चीज शाद याद बेमतहा। न साजो न बाजो न फौजो न फर्श, खुदावंद बख्शन दे ऐश अर्श। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। We are visiting the Bani of the Japji, the first Bani of the Guru Granth Sahib. This Bani doesn't have any rag mentioned in it. It is complete with concepts, and so it's a very intense Bani. We have covered 22 paudis. And in the last few paudis, Guru Sahib is talking about in the way human being wants to define, measure, and control the Creator's vision, and how that is not possible. In today's body also, the 23rd body, Maharaj is giving us a relationship between the ego and the Creator. One thing which is infinite in creation is the Creator himself and his creation. But the human ego is not far behind. We have all bloated egos, and we want to be the center of creation. Galileo told the Christian church that earth is not the center of creation, and he was killed for that. Such is our ego. We want to twist facts, lie, cheat, deceive, but we want to feel important. The selfie culture of the present day is also a vision of that same ego. What is the selfie culture? It's basically the same idea of I am the center and I want to feel important. This is a disease, so to say. What is the reality? The relationship between the ego and me. In the Asativar, Guru Sahib explains to us that Home buje, ta dar suje. When we've understood the relationship between the Creator and the ego, then we know the Creator's door. We know the creation. We've understood the foundation of creation. But that's very difficult. It hurts us when we feel we are not the center of creation. We want to feel like that. No matter what somebody says, we want to be photographed, we want to be garlanded, we want to be recognized. And that is what drives our internal and external energies. You see, we live in the world of Dvaitan too. I am not alone here. And how do I measure myself and how do I know myself? I will know myself from the other's eye. Because I don't know myself. I don't know my complete reality. I have never gone into myself. So when somebody judges me, good or bad, that becomes me. If I'm a good dancer and people appreciate my dancing, then I excel in that. I want to do more of that because I want to be recognized. So this essential need of ours that I am is met through these actions of mine. If I am good in physics or chemistry, then I will go that way. That's where I'm appreciated. That's where I am. It happens in religion also. If I belong to a certain religion and in a congregation that religion is not addressed, I feel I am not addressed. I don't belong here. I feel alienated. And often enough we tie that ego concept, religion, to authority, to dominance, to control. And there lies the need for ownership. So it's a very complicated world which we make for ourselves. A religion cries out and says, I want my own country. And when it gets its own country, then it wants to divide its religious entity into parts. Muslims will divide into Shia Sunni. Then further and further and further. We are always dividing. We want one language, one religion, but we want to divide it further. We are not at peace. Because our mind is not at peace. We don't know what life is all about. We don't know the relationship between me and my Creator. We don't know where my happiness lies. These are all confusing questions for us. And so, we hit a dead end. It is very painful when we live in a fantasy world and it comes crashing down. Maharaj in these last few podis has given us an eye-opener on the way to see creation. He has explained to us how there are good people and there are bad people. This is also one of our maladies. If God is the creator, why is there wrong in earth? We want to know and control what God does. So Guru Sahib has explained this in his Japji, and even today we will visit the 23rd Pauri. And the two things which Guru Sahib explains here is one, what is the wealth of spirituality? How does wealth get defined in life? Who is wealthy? And the other is, what is the relationship between me and my ego and my Creator? Japji Sahib is about Japna. Contemplation, meditation on the Shabad is Jap. Maharaj talks about spirituality, he talks about the inner revelation of the mind, the transformation of the mind, the connection of the mind with its source. If we define religion or dharam or spirituality, that is how I would say it. A human being connecting to his source. Maharaj calls it Naam, Satnam. How do we connect to the source? Japji Sahib tells us. In sound, in meditation on sound, the dhyan in sound, the dhyan in my own narration of the Shabad is the entry point into my inner mind. Gaviye suniye man rakhiye pao. Don't take this lightly. This can transform us forever. Me, you, everyone. To meditate on the Shabad, this is the method. Gaviye, this is known as Vakri Bani. So there are in mythology, in sound is defined in 4 different stages. Para, Pashanti, Madhma and Vakri. Vakri is a verbal sound, which we say it out. So Maharaj says Gaviye. Gaviye means say it out. And then with your eyes closed, I assume so, listen to the Shabad. So all our senses get focused on the Shabad. Today science is talking about these changes of sound and how sound can change our vibrations, our biofeedback, our focus of the mind. And Maharaj says love is where we find love. Then in this way we find our inner love. Such is our complications of life. We even complicate love. We know only conditional love, and we think that is the end paradigm of love. But Guru Sahib, when he talks about love, he doesn't talk about the love which lives in the changing mind. I like to define the mind into two different phases, the changing mind and the unchanging mind. The foundation mind, the source mind. So Maharaj then discusses this with us in this 23rd body. How, let me for a minute assume a fish in the ocean wants to measure the ocean. A fish wants to define the ocean. We find that laughable, but that's exactly how we live. We want to define creation, control it, know it, to the point where we start feeling that we are the creator. That's our ego. And that is our center of pain. The relationship with pain and sorrow and death also is related to these aspects. What is death? How do we deal with pain? How does pain visit us? Sorrow. These are all related to the inner mind's relation with ego. When Maharaj is talking about the ego in the Asadivar, he says that this is not a permanent state of being. And this is the part of the Creator's hukam, his order. Ego is a part of that. In the Siddh Gosht, this question was asked of Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj. Kit kit bid jag upje purkha. Kit kit dukh binas jai. How does the creation come about? And how does pain go away? What a relevant question. The yogis had this dialogue with Guru Nanak Maharaj. When the seeker is evolved, there is so much more to learn, because then the Guru also expresses himself on the seeker's question. If the question is evolved, the answer is also so evolved. We don't have these questions. Our questions are more to do with our pain, our gain, losses. Where will we go? What will happen to us? These are our questions. This is all about me. It's understandable. We will learn the relationship between me and the creation through me. Maharaj says, Home vich jag upje purkha. Through the ego, the world comes about. When we take birth, we get detached from our source. Guru Amar Das explains that in the Bani of Anand. And when we get detached, we come into the ego. And then we build the ego. That's the conditioned mind. The mind we create, our environment creates. Kit kit bit jag upje purkha, kit kit dukh binas jai. Home vich jag upje purkha. And naam visariye dukh pai. And when we forget naam, when we are detached from our source, when the vision of the Creator goes away from us, our pains us. Now that's the source of our pain. There is no denial that we live the ego world. That's how life is created. But to understand the relationship between ego and Nam, ego and another, ego and the creator, that's the key. That's the key to solving the puzzle of the world. To have a better vision of what is life. And this ego has parts to it. Our body is the main element. So I need a mirror. I need to see myself. I need to be appreciated if I'm good looking, and I revel in that. That makes me feel more related. And I use that for my ego, for my building my ego, that I am beautiful, or I am handsome, or I would like to make myself handsome. That is how we clothe ourselves. There's a whole huge industry trying to make the human being more beautiful than what he or she is. But what is the I? Is it the body? If the body goes, then where does I go? इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छुट्टे मन कहाँ समाई? Even in the Siddh Ghosh, they ask this question. जब ए हृदय देह न होती, तब मन कोठे रहता. When there is no heart and body, where does the mind live? हृदय देह न होती अवधु, तब मन सुन रहा बैरागी. सुन अवस्था है समाधि. We don't like these words. Samadhi is where I am not. We don't take this endeavor. I grew up for a few years in an ashram in Patiala. And there was one young boy there, supposedly an evolved soul from past life. He was only 6 or 7 years of age. And he would often say this to me. Come, let us sit in Samadhi. We also don't understand what is Samadhi. We think only sitting is Samadhi. Yes, that's one aspect. But one can be in Samadhi while you're working, while you're interacting, while you're living. Samadhi is to be centered within your mind, within the inner mind. And there are certain states of mind which gurus have told us about. In the Japji Maharaj talks about Sachkhand. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj talks about Anandpur. Bhagat Kabir says Vaikunt. Bhagat Ravidas calls it Begampura. Where is the state of mind where I am free? Where I am not bound by my karam, by my actions, where there is no wrong, no pressures, no death. Is there such a state of being? Japji addresses that. Let's read the 23rd Pauri Maharaj and let's venture into trying to understand what Guru Sahib is telling us. It doesn't have very many lines in it. In fact, it reminds me of Maulana Rumi's Masnavi. All his writings are in 4 lines, couplets of 4 lines. This also has 4 lines. Maulana talks about a relationship between the man and the creator. Similarly, Sufi talks about this. The other day I was reading about the folk songs of Punjab. And Nusrat used to sing this song, Charkhe di mithi mithi kuhu. And I understood this now, that this is a part of a yearning of a yogi who has left his house, gone to the mountains, and he's remembering his mother who used to weave the cloth on his charkha, on her charkha. And it makes him, gives him a connection to her, makes him feel at home. So a lot of these qawwalis and Sufi songs which are there are related to spirituality, like Omar Khayyam. And then the 23rd Pauri is now telling us something about ourselves, our relationship to nature, to Creator. Let's read the Pauri and then we can go into discussing what it is saying. Ji.
Vaheguru Ji. Sala hi sala, eti surat na paiyan, nadiyan ate bahar, pame samund na janiye, samund shah sultan, girha seti mar tan, kiri tul na homdi, je tis man ho na bisari hai. Sala hi sala, eti surat na paiyan, nadiyan ate bahar, pame samund na janiye, samund shah sultan, girha seti mal tan, kiri tul na homdi, je tis mano na bisari hai. Vaheguru Ji.
Thank you. Thank you, Harneet. This first line introduces us to a word, surat. Surat has basically it defines the inner mind, the focused mind, the more aware mind. Maharaj says, Salah hi salah, eti surat na paiya. Salahi means to focus on the Creator, to sing His praise, to make Him my center of my life, which I don't do. What is the center of my life? We all need to contemplate that. Most of us will say, my family, my work, my career, this is my center. But then it's a strange center because everything about this world is so changing. And it is so easily taken away from us. We can work all our lifetime on it and we ultimately leave it. But wouldn't that be painful? When I put all my energies into this physical world and then it is gone. We meditated on one of the Shabads of Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj in the morning. Jaag le ho re mana jaag le ho. Kahan gafal soya. When he says the body is come with us, but it is not us. Jo tan upjo sang hi so bhi sang na hua. This body doesn't remain with us. It's not mine. Then we say this body is me and the relationships, the family is me. Then Maharaj says that all your parents, your friends, your acquaintances, when life goes from the body, they will be the ones who will put it on the funeral pyre. Maat pita sut banjan hit jasyo kina. Jiyo chutkyo jab dehte dar agan mein dina. And when life goes from this body, they will put it on the funeral pyre. What is this relationship with my family? What will happen when I am gone, when my physical form is gone? Is there nothing or is there something? That needs to be understood. How? Through the mind. Bani is always making us visit the mind and Naam, these two aspects in every Shabad. So Maharaj says here, even when we are focused on make the Creator our center, Salah hi Salah, Eti Surt na paya. Even then, in my inner focused mind, I don't know all the dimensions of the Creator. I cannot define it intellectually. I cannot bring it into measure. And then he gives an example. Nadiya te vah pave samund na janiye. That the river, the flowing river, it cannot know the depth of the ocean which it is going to merge into. So similarly, we cannot know the Creator. We are like a flowing river to our Creator, going to merge with our Creator. This is me and the Creator's relationship. How do I merge with my Creator? And all this which I am trying to do about my life, first thing is that my life, I am the center. Ego is the center of my life. And there lies the pain. Because ego is not a permanent state. It's a transient, temporary state of being, an opportunity. Bhai prapat manuk de huriya. Gobind milan ki hai teri pariya. This is an opportunity to meet your Creator. Avar kaaj tere kite na kaam. Mil saad sangat pach keval naam. But see how ironical it is that this very Guru Granth Sahib, the very same religion, the environment is not talking about this. The environment is also about ego. Even in our spiritual or religious centers, we are talking about our ego only. We don't go into Naam. So Maharaj says that we cannot fathom the Creator's dimensions, His creation, even when we make Him our center of ourselves, of our life. We don't do that. So we like to measure, we like to define, we like to control. This is our ego. So then what should be our way of relating to our Creator if it is not through the ego? If we drop the ego, how do we connect to our creation, to the Creator? Maharaj in the Japji Sahib initially asked the question, Kiv satyara huye, kiv kude tutte pal. Whenever in doubt in the Guru Granth Sahib, I think it is best to go back to this question and revisit it for every Shabad. There Maharaj talks about an attitude of life. Hukam razai chalna. Nanak likhya naal. This one line defines my attitude of knowing creation. It's about acceptance, not expectation. This is also what this body is saying. That I want to define the Creator, I want to live in that expectation of knowing and defining, rather than in accepting. And how do I accept the Creator, Maharaj? Maharaj says, Home name nal birodha doe na bas ek thaye. These are two dimensions of the mind, Home and Naam. We can oscillate from one to the other. In fact, we have to. The ego is the physical world we live, and Naam is our spiritual center. If the ego is defining our life, then Naam has no presence. It has no presence in my mind. It has no presence in my life. And acceptance is not a possibility. Then ego will push me towards dimensions which don't give me a balance in life. When Maharaj says acceptance, then we also confuse acceptance in the physical plane. Should I drink water then? Should I get up and make the effort? Why should I do that when Hukam is the acceptance I've accepted? This is not what this means. What we can change, we should change if we need to change it. It's not about accepting things in the physical plane. What is wrong in the physical plane and right in the physical plane belongs there, and it needs to be addressed there. Somebody's invaded our city or our nation. Should we accept it and say, okay, this is fine? Or should we fight it? So this is the physical reality. We will fight it. Acceptance is about the presence of the Creator in my life. Acceptance is about Naam in my inner being. Acceptance is about the hukam of life. The ultimate hukam of life is that I am only a visitor. Acceptance is that understanding that life is a journey which has an end. We go to many journeys. We have so many journeys we visit. But while going to the journey, if we can do something to make it easier, better for ourselves, then we do so. If the car is punctured, we repair the tire. If there is a fault in the engine, we try and sort that out. If I'm uncomfortable in my seat, I try and make myself comfortable. These are the physical realities. But I live in the acceptance that there is the end to the journey. This journey is not forever. And there is a reality which is beyond this journey. There is a reality of the Creator which is beyond my life. And to fathom that, to know that, to understand that, that's the trick, that's the game. Guru Amar Das Maharaj guides us in the Anand Sahib. He says that Sur Nar Munjan Amrit Khoj De. जिस वक्खर को लैन तू आया, राम नाम संतन कर पाया। ऐस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छूटे मन कहां समाई। So Maharaj is telling us that to find that Amrit of life, जिस जल नित कारण तुम जगाए, this jal, Amrit, again, So Bani is telling us that we are here for a purpose. And that purpose is not the physical reality, a physical comfort, physical joys, physical enjoyments. That is a part of life, fair enough, but it's not the means, it's not the end. Where should our vision be? Where should we be looking at for understanding life? It's beyond the physical. In one of the places, Guru Sahib tells us that Raj Mal Anek Pogras Sagal Tarvar Ki Chham, that these pleasures, the experiences of wealth in life is like the shadow of a tree, always moving. And if we make something which is moving and assume it to be permanent, then it will be a disappointment, because it is not permanent. A very beautiful line when he says, Chaltyo man rakhe, amrit chakhe. Go away from the moving mind and you will find Amrit. Amrit is a word which is full of joy, permanent happiness, state of permanent happiness. This is the product which Guru Sahib deals in. In the Siddh Gosht, he is asked this question, Kis vakhar ke tum ban ja rahe? What product do you deal in? You are wandering place to place like a trader. What are you trading in? Saach vakhar ke hum ban ja rahe. Truth. Permanent truth. Forever. A jewel, a diamond which can never be taken away. I trade in that, Guru says. And where does it live? It lives within us all. It's the source of our Creator. We come from there. That's where our breath comes from, our mind comes from. Our body is connected to that. That is the way to figure out life. My relationship with my Creator. If I can drop the mind, my ego, and go into Naam, step by step, then the journey may become a revelation on what is creation, what is life. Then the journey may become a love affair with my inner self, with the Creator. Unconditional love. An awareness of life. It is not that it's all rosy on the other side. But whatever we gain is more permanent than what we will lose anyway. In one of the Shabad he says, Dastagiri nahe, nothing will come in the hand. In another place he says, this is like a mound of sand washed away with air. Take it in your hand and it will drop away. That is how life is. But I want to indulge myself in other ego traits of trying to know the Creator and define the Creator. So what Maharaj is saying is, rather than going into life through the ego, go to it through Naam. Drop your ego. Find your inner Amrit, inner love, inner peace. Find the solutions to life. Maharaj, should I leave life to do that? No. The Creator has created the life. through this creation, we can reach Him. If we avoid life, we will not know the Creator. That's like saying, I will know the painter by ignoring the painting. In the painting, the artist is hidden. His psychology is hidden. His thinking is hidden. His or her. So is this creation and artwork. Everything we know in the physical sense changes, gets destroyed, and gets rebuilt. But nothing is destroyed in the mind, in the spirit world. Nothing changes there. Even the worst of sinners have the same foundation of life as any do-gooder. Even a murderer has the same foundation in his mind as all the others in creation. Even the saint has the same. The difference is to understand the relationship between my inner self and me. Naam being the inner self, the Surat. Shabad and Surat. Maharaj talks about Shabad. One message which Guru Sahib has given us is that the Guru is important to transcend the ego life. And the Guru is Shabad. So, a relationship between the Shabad and me establishes the relationship between me and my Creator. Because Shabad is Creator. Bani Guru, Guru hai Bani, which Bani Amrit Sare. And that is the source of my Amrit, my joy. Where there is Shabad, there is no Dukh. This is a revelation. I don't know the relationship between me and my Shabad, like a Naam. That should be our focus. Practically, if we are to break it down, how do I do it? Well, before you start your day, we start our day, if we can sing the Shabad with Dhyan. In Dhyan, if we can sing or narrate the Shabad, not even sing, if we just say it out again and again and again, then we start having a relationship between Shabad and the Man. The senses are the tools. We see, hear, touch, feel, but everything is happening in the mind. If we put the Shabad seed in our mind, then the relationship of our mind and Shabad gets established. And the real relationship gets revealed when there is no mind. There is no thought, but only Shabad. And that can happen. That will happen. If we intensely, or even in the beginning for a few minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, give time in the morning, give time in the evening, whenever we get time. Then we associate, we find associations. And now there are new tools. The other day I was reading one Dr. Mendel. And I was quite amazed because Guru Sahib has talked about Sunnah as the first step to spirituality. And Mendel says that the inner ear is like an inverted womb, a fetus. A inner ear is in the form of a fetus, a child in his mother's womb. And he says this ear is our nerval rejuvenation. It can calm us. So he has exercises where he teaches you how to pull the ear from the top to bottom, and it calms us down, it relaxes us. This is a big revelation. Maharaj has talked about Sunnah as the major entry into inner spirituality, into the inner mind. And see how the ear is like an inverted fetus. It's to do with our inner self. We need to explore these things. We need to be curious about these things. And one of the reasons is because we don't want pain, we don't want sorrow, we don't want death. And this is the way to transcend all these things. When Guru Sahib writes the Zafarnama to Aurangzeb, this is one of his lines to Aurangzeb. That whatever you may have done, my happiness doesn't go away. That's not, the physical reality is not the source of my happiness. My Creator gives me the happiness and my connection to Him. This is our Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj. Where is the Guru? Guru is everywhere. One very beautiful way in which I was told where the connection of Guru and the Sikh happens. In the meditation of the Sikh, the Guru is present. In the Aradhana of the Sikh, the Guru is present. That's how the Guru finds his connection to the world, through his Sikh. And so we can feel, know, live the presence of the Guru. Provided we are looking for it and we work towards it. Then Maharaj now in the next two lines defines how we look at who is successful in life. The wealthy, the people who have more wealth, big houses, money, influence, power. That is how we see and define success. But not the Guru doesn't look at it like that. Maharaj says, Samund Sa Sultan, Girha Seti Maltan. The wealthy with oceans with them, Samund Sa Sultan. The lords and kings who own oceans and mountains, Girha Seti Maltan, and have a lot of wealth. The ego defines these people as successful. But the Guru doesn't do that. Guru puts all his investment into Shabad and meditation of Shabad. Like in the Japji, in the end he says, Kadiye Shabad Sachi Taksal. The wealth of the Sikh is Shabad. Kidi tulna hovani. Jetis manona visre. If a person, Kidi is an ant, implying somebody who doesn't have the same means, doesn't have the same wealth, doesn't have much wealth at all. But if that individual is meditating on the Shabad and is in the presence of his Guru, then these wealthy have no space, no comparison. The accepted is the one who meditates on Guru, on the Shabad. Provided we don't forget the Creator. We don't move our thought, our shurut away from the Creator, from the Shabad. What is happening in the man? That is the key factor which Guru Sahib is mentioning. The outside wealth, the power, money is all going to go away. How is the state of mind? What is the state of mind? He said the same thing to the Siddhs. Bin naame man tek na tikhi, nanak bhukh na jaye. Without naam, you will not be stable. And hunger of trishna, of ego will not go away. So Maharaj is always inviting us to visit the man. Bhai Nandalal talks about wealth also. Daulat, Javed, Bashad, Bandagi. What is wealth forever? Javed means forever. Daulat, Javed, Bashad, Bandagi. Kun Bandagi, Kun Bandagi, Kun Bandagi. He says Bandagi. A very intense word, Bandagi. To become one with the Creator. To identify ourselves as a part of our Creator. To define ourselves as a part of the energy which has created us. Is Bandagi. And it has a lot of love in it. It is selfless. And he says, do that. Kun Bandagi, Kun Bandagi, Kun Bandagi. Life is defined like that. There are only 4 lines in this body. But it gives us a lot of revelation to our inner self. Invitation to the Shabad. Meditating on Shabad. Dhyan of Shabad. That is our wealth. That is our dimension beyond the physical world. There's nothing wrong in living the physical world. Nothing wrong at all. But to limit our life to only the physical is inviting pain. Because then we make death as our permanent reality. The ego will be gone at the end of this life, and it will be transformed into another ego. So it's like a writing on water. It really has no long-term meaning. But if the ego is transcended and we know a state of our inner mind, Nam, then we live the life of another, not of Karam. Maharaj says, Gyan, knowledge of life. It is what defines life. Gyan, awareness of what I am, what seeds I carry within me, what is beyond the physical self. That's knowing life completely and being free of the physical world. 23rd body. Would finish today here. Forgive my errors and whatever wrong I would have said. I invite any questions you would have at Zoom or in YouTube. You can write it out and we can address them here. A Sikh rests in his Shabad. Guru Granth Sahib is Shabad. When you go to the Darbar Sahib, there's an inverted lotus on top. The lotus faces the sunlight. The Gyan of life is in the Shabad. So the lotus is facing downwards, not outside. जैसो चंदा उगवे सूरज चढ़े हजार इते चानन होंदे गुरबिन को हरंदार. There be 100 moons and 1,000 suns. Without Guru, life will be darkness. Our inner mind is full of light, full of knowledge, full of love, full of Naam. And Guru is the key to that. Let's invite Shabad in ourselves and live the Shabad to know life completely. Thank you. If any of you want to say something or have a question, otherwise then we'll do the Anand Sahib. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
In this last line when Maharaj says, Jaytis, means he is like praying or requesting that one may not forget, or he does not forget us.
So he is putting a condition that if that individual does not forget, Jaytis Manona Visare, in his mind is connected to his source, then that is the real wealth of life. Only then. Maharaj.
Ji.
Vaheguru Ji. Make Mool Mantra a part of our daily meditation on Shabad. In Dhyan, say the Mool Mantra, recite it. So much that it becomes a part of every breath. Maharaj. If you have no questions or anything else, then we can say the Anand Sahib and we conclude today's session. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you.